Today, I want to talk about this journal. I bought this journal around 1 year ago, and only in the past couple of weeks have I actually started to use it though. Originally, I bought it because I wanted to use it for my video ideas. My girlfriend even made me a super nice little cover so that I knew what this book was actually about. And I actually started to use it. A total of 6 pages. And after that, it stopped. Why did I stop? I don't know. I felt like I always had to, write everything down digitally on the Notes app from Apple. That's where I would plan everything. That's where I would write down all my ideas, my scripts, and everything for the videos that I had been creating in the past. And so I kind of stopped using this book and it just was laying around. And that was kind of it. But then a couple of weeks ago, I was laying in bed and I realized a lot of times when I'm laying in bed, I start to think and have a ton of ideas. And of course, right before going to sleep, I don't want to be looking at a screen because, that's not good for the eyes. So I thought, hey, let me use the journal and just write down my ideas, write down what I was thinking. And so I did. I was kind of at this place where I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, what I wanted to create, because I had been creating videos about kind of just random things that I enjoyed doing. But I realized that that was kind of not the way I wanted to go. I wanted to have a direction. I wanted to know, kind of have a goal, create a system, and kind of take away the thinking in the process of creating and just focus on the creating. And so I started to think, who am I and what do I actually like doing? And that's kind of what I started to write down here. And what do I genuinely like to do? For sure, I love cooking. Cooking is probably one of my biggest passions, and I do it almost every day for myself, my friends, my family, my girlfriend. I love to cook. And so I wrote that down. I also love to go to the gym, and I'm very enthusiastic and just love the idea of health. I consider health or being healthy kind of a hobby of mine. I like to go to sleep early, wake up early. I like to do sports. But I mean, that's of course going to the gym. It's, also an own hobby, but also just, taking care of your body, which I consider to be a actual hobby. So I wrote that down. I like videography. I like working with cameras and just all around everything around cameras, and of course video editing. And after that, it stopped. Like I didn't know what else to write. And then I actually started to just one to one write what I was thinking. And I started to kind of write how I had tried in the past year of 2025 a ton of different things. I started to dropship. I started to create faceless shorts. I started to create just more aesthetic videos. I started lots of different things. And every time the beginning hit, of starting something new, something fresh, it feels so good. Everything is new, everything's interesting to learn, so you start getting into it. But around a week or two afterwards, you start to realize that everything looks so much easier than it actually is. When you're in the gym and you see someone completely ripped abs, looking amazing, you think, I want to do that. I want to be like that. So you start going to the gym and you don't see any results instantly. So it kind of demotivates you. I've been going to the gym consistently for a while and I feel like I haven't seen the results that I wanted. And just like that, I've been I've been doing a lot of things and I've been doing them because I like to do them, but I haven't seen as much results as I would like to. And that's just because there's so much more behind every single thing that you see. If you look at a video that is color graded perfectly, there's so much behind that. It's not just, getting Premiere Pro or DaVinci Resolve and just starting to color grade. It's so much deeper and there's so much you have to understand, right? So I kind of was just writing this down, what I was thinking, And I started to realize that I have to just slow down a little bit. I don't have to look at the end result and think I have to be there in a week or two or in three, a month even. Skills take time to learn. And so I started to write down, like, what do I really want to learn? What do I really want to be good at? And so this was written down around 2 weeks from filming this. It is now the 2nd of January, 2026, so Happy New Year to everyone who's watching this. But I realized I hadn't really achieved the proper goals that I wanted for 2025. So I knew something had to change for 2026 because this year, this is gonna be a big year, right? So I knew things had to change. And so I started to write down, what do I actually want to achieve? Because what I know for a fact is I love social media. I love working in the social media department and everything around social media. So I knew it was going to be something in this direction. So I looked at what I genuinely liked to do. And I wrote down what I wanted to achieve with this channel right here. My biggest focus that I already had for a while was video editing. And I had been video editing for probably around 3 years at this point, probably even longer, but I won't count that because I started off editing Minecraft videos on Filmora, some cracked version that I downloaded, and then I started to edit on Premiere Pro, and this is when I truly started to get into editing more and more, and that's where I had been editing for around 3 years. Now, I feel like after a while, like in Premiere, I just felt like there was this part where the color grading, it just, I didn't like it didn't look as good on Premiere. I feel like I just I didn't get it to this point where I wanted to be. And so I transitioned about a month ago to DaVinci Resolve. I'm officially DaVinci Resolve user now. I even bought the license because also for a while I realized Premiere Pro, and in general the Adobe palette is incredibly expensive. Ever since Canva dropped Affinity and it was completely free, I started to think, is it really worth still staying on Premiere? Of course, I have so much knowledge in all these Premiere. I have so much knowledge in all of these Creative Cloud apps from Adobe, but I feel like this knowledge that I have can easily be moved to new apps that I can take the knowledge that I already have and pretty easily get into these new apps. So I probably won't be getting Adobe anymore, but I don't even know how I got to this point, to this rant. The point is this. What do I want to achieve exactly? I want to actually learn DaVinci even deeper because, of course, there's this huge learning curving I have to do now because a lot of things are new. I've been using it, as I already said, around a month, and I found it not too hard to get in because, of course, the fundamentals of editing still say the same if it's DaVinci or Premiere. So that knowledge I've been able to take over, but especially color grading is what fascinates me about DaVinci Resolve, and that's what definitely I'll be focusing on for the next couple of months, and that's something I want to achieve. I want to learn color grading on a deeper level. I want to understand what the graphs do, all these weird ass graphs that you see and you think, what even is that? And understand why they have to be in a certain way. Then I also want to just create beautifully edited videos that you watch and you're just like, wow, how? I want to be able to do that. And together with DaVinci, perfect combination. Now, something that I have realized that I've been doing for so long is vlogs and little videos when I'm out on trips, holidays, hikes, whatever. I love to create little vlogs and look back at them because it's such a nice way to remember that moment. and I enjoy it way more than just pictures. So that's also something I really want to continue doing. And then just in general, share the story that I kind of share my story, my unique story that I've had, like, and in general, my journey to where I am right now. And I just kind of want to document that and see, truly be able to see progress and document my journey so that I can kind of better track what I am doing in form of videos just like this. But also, I want to kind of just talk about my probably rather unique mindset and approach to things and health and stuff like that, which I believe to be definitely not an average mindset that the average 20 to 25-year-old person like me will be having, which is something I also want to bring over, but that for a future video, of course. And I kind of already said this, but I just want to use it as a journal to kind of look back and see my progress. And so I wrote this all down, and yeah, at this point, usually I would start to stress out because I was like, okay, all of these different types of topics, they don't really have a lot in common. And I know if you want to have a successful social media channel, you have to kind of focus on a niche. You know the word niche, niche, niche. You're that everywhere, right? And so I started to think to myself, I have to actually create a plan, an idea of exactly what I will be doing on this channel. And so I wrote down that I have to define content pillars, my goals, my core audience, and the content types I will be posting. And I just wrote this down one to one how I was thinking, and it continued on. And I won't be getting too much more into detail now because this is kind of when started to write down the specifics of what I was thinking. But I realized how much it helped me because I had no quick ChatGPT to distract me or some notification coming up or anything because it was pen on paper. It felt so old fashioned, you know. Who still writes on pen on paper, you know? Pretty much everyone has an iPad with an Apple Pencil to write on, or some kind of writing it digitally. And for the longest time, I always thought that, like, I have to do it digitally, otherwise I don't have it, you know? Because paper, you know, I don't have this on me at all times, but my phone, it's always in my pocket. It's terrible, you know? It's another topic. That's another problem, but I started to write down and it really helped me. I didn't get distracted and I really got into this flow of just writing, writing, writing. And this is probably the most I had written on pen on paper in the past, I don't even know how many, 5, 10 years? I don't know. But I really liked doing it, and ever since then I kept using it more and more. At this point I have written 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, almost 11 and a half pages. I have just written full of ideas and things that I want to do. And I really, really like it because I kind of, the way I kind of am structuring this book is there's no structure. I just dump everything that I'm thinking, everything that I have in my head, I put into this book. And it's saved right here. And then later on, when I'm ready, I can go onto my laptop with this book and I look at what I wrote down and I can implement what I wrote down. I have no distractions. I have no quick AI writing me the entire system or whatever I'm going to do. I did it myself because ever since ever since AI, I kind of had this problem of like there wasn't any, originality. It's always okay, go on ChatGPT, ask it to write five great real ideas, ask it to write you the script, and then it's not even you, it's not your personal brand, which is actually what I want to do. I want to create a brand that is me, that is uniquely me, because no one else but me is me. That sounds weird, but yeah. And so I wrote this all down, and with all this information, I was able to create a notion, like a system and kind of an entire like step-by-step guide on how I will be moving forward and how I will be creating content. And this all 100% from my brain, from my creativity, and it genuinely really helped me, which is why I'm kind of raving about the notebook. It's nothing special. It's just paper, right? And I'm sure, there's a lot of people who've really already found this for themselves, but I really like this, and I'm definitely going to be I'll definitely continue using it. I have this like, I hope one sees it, this dotted structure where it's just the paper with little dots, which just helps you stay organized and clean lines. But yeah, I really like it. I'll be continue using this probably for a while. And yeah, that's kind of all about this journal. And yeah, for 2026, I will be posting a lot more, and I'm really excited for this next for this new journey that I'm on. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video of me just kind of rambling, saying my thoughts, kind of similar to writing it down, just talking to the camera, no script, no nothing. This 100% just top of my head. I really enjoyed it. I'll be doing more of this, even if no one watches it, because I watched it, and that's currently what's important for me. But yeah, if you did watch until here, maybe consider subscribing to follow along on my journey, and otherwise have a great rest of your day.